I'm working on a project using Andersen windows, and they don't have the proper indications of the swings. I think this is there when you, I just downloaded this from their website. It's a 400 series, and I think that this is the way that they're indicating which windows operate. And what I needed to do was, well, I don't want the left or the right operating. I want the center one to operate. So I'll show you what I did, and then I'll show you how I did it. But basically, I set up, when you click on the window, you can see the properties of it. And I said, I made these visible or not visible. So I can click each one of these. Let's maybe make it a little bit bigger so we can see exactly. So I've made a setting center hinge left, center hinge right, which would be which way this one's going to open up, and then left hinge left and right hinge right. So right now you can see that the right window has a hinge on the right hand side. If I change that, I can change it to left hinge, which I see I spelled it wrong. Left. So the left window should have a hinge indication on it now on the left side, which is probably the way it would be. Or what I have is a situation where I have the center hinge. The two flanking windows are not hinged, but the center one is. So I can click on center hinge right, and that will give me the hinge. The dashed lines point to the hinge. So that would be my hinge on the right. And if I said, don't want that, it gets rid of it. And I do want this. So maybe I want it hinged on the left. Vary. All of the other Andersen settings are still saved because I'm just modifying their existing family. As I said in the previous video, I called up Andersen, the Revit, or their technical support. And the people that I've talked to over the last year at Andersen aren't the people that make the program or modify the families. So they don't really know a whole lot about this. But anyway, the bottom line is that they said, hey, we understand that should be something that we should have in our families, but we don't have it. We'll put it on our wish list, which is fine, except, I can't say to my client, well, as soon as Andersen puts that on their family, I can indicate it correctly. So I just had to go do it myself. And it's really not that difficult to do. But the people that I'm talking to in the technical department aren't the ones that are writing the families. And the people that write the families, I don't think are people that actually use it. So no one really understands both tasks, so how to use it and how to program it or modify it. And that's not a criticism. Anyway, so we're going to take a look at this guy. I'm going to just simply say edit the family. And so we'll go over to the exterior because that's what I want. And these are simply symbolic lines. So if you're going to put in a symbolic line, then Revit wants to know what plane you're using, and I've already selected a plane, so it's made that the active plane. But when you look at so you'll see if you're doing this from scratch, you'll see the question, what plane do you want, which is fine. And you can really, it's just a symbolic line, so you can pick any of these reference planes and make it the active plane where the lines are going to be drawn. Anyway, back to the exterior. So I clicked on these two lines, and I went over to my visibility graphics. Now you see the equal sign because I have made a parameter there, but and I've called it right hinge right. Now, if I wanted to make a new parameter, simply click on this, give it any name that I want, make it an instance. Now, the reason we would want to make it as an instance is that some windows might have one hinge setting, other windows might have another hinge setting. So we don't want to globally change all of the windows, we want to be able to set each window to have its own particular hinge setting. So anyway, I simply wrote left hinge left here and said okay, but I've already done it, so I'll cancel out of here. So when we click on this, it's called right hinge right. Okay. When we click on this, I called it left hinge left. So it's backwards, but that's how it works. I'm on the exterior view, so it would seem like this one should be the left hinge left, and this should be the right hinge right, but it does the opposite of what I want it to do. And then, of course, we have this one here. So I can select more, but if we click on that, you can see center hinge right, but it's really on the left. And I also have center hinge left. Okay, so not a big deal if you want to change it. What I did was I did it the way I thought. This is the left window. It should be the left hinge, but I had to set it for a different setting. So anyway, that's basically what we do. We change that, then we load it into the project, which I've already done. And I think this is the example. I've loaded it in. So now when I click on the window, I have the options that I want. Do I want my center hinge on the center window, hinge on the left, center window, hinge on the right, left hinge on the left, which is over here, or right hinge on the right, which is over here. Or I could have, maybe I want these two windows to operate, so I could actually do that. Now I could say right hinge right, and those two windows should indicate that they are operable. This one is fixed. So, and that's the setting for the visibility settings to upgrade, well, in this case, the Andersen windows, which aren't fully functional from a use point of view for the architect, but I'm not criticizing, because this is a really nice set of families from Andersen. It's just not 100% usable, and it needed a little fix, and that's how I fixed it. So I hope that helps you in your project, because of course you don't have to do the visibility just for Andersen windows. You can do it for anything.